Hey everybody, I have Robert here. He's been one of our clients here at HouseProDigital, I think for the last 6 months or so. And we've just been managing his B2B cold email outreach for his roofing insurance supplements company. To start, Robert, can you tell the people a little bit more about your business? Like what even is roofing insurance supplements? Because I sure as hell did not know from the start.
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah. So it is called an insurance supplementing business, right? But the best way I can kind of explain it is like, how roofing companies, they basically get stuck spending hours on insurance claims, right? Whether it's writing estimates or chasing adjusters, waiting forever for the payments to kind of get made, right? Well, what we do is we kind of handle that. We help roofing companies like save time and make more money by handling the entire process for them. So it could be writing the estimates or communicating with the insurance adjusters, but really we help them make more money on their insurance jobs and hopefully speed up the turnaround time it takes for them to get paid.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So it does leave me to ask, what was your kind of B2B lead generation process like before working with us?
Yeah, so like as a small business or as a business owner, right, you wear many hats, and so just to give you context, we're doing like around 800,000 in revenue this year, right? But it's been very, very messy. A lot of direct outreach on like Facebook, DMs, or making cold calls, knocking on doors, asking for referrals, joining kind of networking, contractor networking relationship type deals. But it's been very scattered. But this has been a good little additional way to just get leads into the door. It still is a little bit messy, but all in all, the more times you get on bat, the more, obvious money that you can kind of make.
Yeah. And dude, there's so many different marketing channels you can go with too. So I was curious, what made you decide to go in all in on working with us versus trying something out on your own or going with someone else?
Yeah, I'm not even sure how we met. I think it was actually on X. But you had put out some posts, and I was like, let me just call this guy and see what's going on. And it seems like a no-brainer to me, right? One of the things that I've been working on myself, right, is my sales skills. I bought that Jeremy Minor course or something like that this past year, right? And as a business owner, you don't always have time to make the cold calls or knock on the doors, right? You're constantly spread thin. And so one thing I really liked about this was the idea of just getting an email and then it's like, okay, I'm at bat again, right? I get to practice my closing. I get to practice my opening. I get to, get another opportunity to get some customer in. So for me, it was just like a no-brainer to just be able to just get a lead in your inbox and then make that call happen. It just made complete sense for me to just jump in and give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So then how's our communication been in regards to our transparency, kind of the results you've got, the kind of jobs you've got, really just anything along those lines?
Yeah, definitely. So the communication, it's been fairly simple. I honestly, I think I've reached out one time to just make some tweak on some wording, and it was, that solution it was fixed within a couple days. So, the greatest thing about this is you kind of just set it and forget it, and it's you'll get that email and yeah, then you just make that phone call. I ran some numbers kind of before this. I think you said we've been doing this for about 5 or 6 months, something like that. That
Mhm.
kind of sounds about right. But I did some research here. So keep in mind, one client for us, it can continuously generate revenue, right? And once that relationship is set, right, every roof that roofer is putting on that is an insurance job basically comes to us. And so I ran some numbers. Basically, revenue generated was about $29,000, but we have 20,000 in the pipeline right now, in addition to that. And so out of that, I've made 4 really good clients, right, from this from this program here. And so those clients will forever hopefully stay with us for a long period of time and continue to generate revenue. But yeah, all in all, for the amount that y'all are charging, my ROI is absolutely absurd on these deals, and it's going to continue to get better and better, right? These guys we've developed good relationships with, and now every roof that they put on comes to us, and then we generate revenue that way.
That's huge, man. That's
Yeah.
So actually, it's another segment that I like to kind of dive into in these calls is kind of like diving into your sales process, right? Because we generate leads for over 100 companies across the U.S. and Canada. So we deal with all different types of business owners. People get a sure response. Yes, sure, I can send out more info. They turn it into $29,000 of revenue, right? Some people see a sure response and they think, it's not really that interested. So I'm curious, like, what is your sales process and what have you found to be the most successful to turn those kind of like medium interest leads into these massive deals for you guys?
Yeah, good question. I wish I would say it's like nice and perfect, but in reality, it really is just like seeing that and then calling right away, right? You can reply back via email, but honestly, I feel like that's kind of lazy. You can always find the phone number for the most part. It might be in the signature line, or you just look it up, the area, and you type in the business name, and you should be able to contact them. But definitely, like my success rate is a lot higher when I call right away, right? Because it's like I already know they're in there. But even if you do miss a call, right, just having some way to be able to, call them a few hours later, right, or follow up with an email, a day or two later. That's one thing that I'm still working on, right, is my follow up. Like if something doesn't happen the first time, right, is to just continuously follow up. But that's the other great thing about this is like, even if you forget to call a couple leads, hey, you still have a lead. You still know that they were interested, right? Now, let's see what other ways that we can connect. Is there another phone number that we can call? Can I reach out to them on LinkedIn or Facebook? But it's really not a glamorous way at all. It's just real grit. But like I said, like we have $49,000 of additional revenue coming this way from only 5 or 6 months.
Yeah, that's huge. It's just being relentless.
Right.
I
Definitely.
tell people like you got to be a madman.
Yeah, you really do.
That's how you
Yeah.
get the most out of it.
Yeah, the gritty word is like I mean, it's just grit. Like you have a lead, you just got to figure out a way to get in front of the person that responded. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that I would say.
For sure, for sure. Finally, I was just going to ask, if someone was on the fence, maybe they're thinking about working with us or just kind of looking at us, what would you have to say to them?
I mean, I just think it's just a no-brainer. I really do. I think, if you're a business owner, right, you got to get shots on goal with like your sales process, right? And this is just another this is another avenue of where you're getting leads and where you can practice communicating on the phone, practice following up. You can record your calls and kind of hear when you say or get the stuttering out of the way. But it definitely has helped, and I still have like a long way to go for sure. But it definitely just helps with that, with the shots on goal and just practicing over and over and over again.
Perfect. Awesome, Robert. Thank you so much for your time. Anyone who's watching, if you need help with any kind of B2B cold email marketing, feel free to click the link below. We'll be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thanks.